Hello and welcome to Soul Guidance with Adriana. I have been instructed to do a quick, just for whoever needs this kind of message, and looking like it's going to be a 3-card message, but we'll see. Sometimes they go a little differently. I will not be doing an extended for this one, so if you're looking for a little more information, check out the Intuitive Inspiration or the Collective Reading that also came out today. All right, what is our message here? Got 6 of Fire, Queen of Air, and 3 of Fire. Okay. This is take where you are and make it bigger, make it greater. I've never understood what that meant, that whole make the pie higher thing, and maybe that's the point, but joking aside. So, it looks like we've got kind of a mediation energy going on with the Queen of Air. She's mediating between someone or an energy that would like to look at the future and that is totally secure in her vision of when the timing is, when we should move forward. It's like, I see what we're doing and I know when we need to move forward and I cannot be pushed. But then we've got this other energy that wants like immediate results, wants to be seen right away, and is convinced that there's more power or more to gain in the immediate gratification, like the instant gratification, rather than the intuitively timed gratification. This one is convinced there's more power. And we've got the Queen of Air in the middle trying to figure out what makes sense here, whose way of thinking makes sense. Do we go for the instant gratification, the quicker reward in the short term, or do we look to the long term for that gain? It seems to me like the gain in the short term is a sure thing, like you know what it's going to be. The long term, we don't know if it's going to be a process, but I do want to say the intuition is in charge here. It's like a trust versus an immediate validation. Trust of a longer process, perhaps. It might end up being a shorter process. That's the thing with the 3 of Fire. It could be short, but it's not known right now. Okay, so what's the advice here? So advice is Page of Water and 8 of Fire. We're going in opposite directions. There's a real conflict going on here between these two sides. And what's funny to me, on this card we've got these daffodils, which they're kind of planned, but they're organically growing. And then she's got a regiment of bees. So we've got something lined up that's a sure bet, and then we've got something that's a little bit more chancy. And what it looks like is that actually the one that's a bit more uncertain is going to come to close faster. It's going to come to it's going to come to a conclusion faster. It's like we're going to go the distance with it. The Page of Water coming up with the 6 of Fire looks to me like either the energy will be diluted or it's actually going to cause more desires rather than complete the cycle you're on. So that's a really interesting set. It's not like one is bad or one is wrong or one is right. If you're not sure, so I think what we're going to say is, if you're in this space where you have an intuitive sense of timing and you know that there's a lot that hasn't been kind of figured out maybe on the practical level, but you see a vision, just know that you can trust that vision because it is going to kind of come to a head and finish itself. It's going to move forward quickly. All right, now on the other side, the short-term gain, creating more desire, that's not a bad thing either, because you're going to learn more about your heart and you're going to learn more about what your true self wants. So whichever one of these you're burning to do, I would say you need to follow it, but just know you're learning 2 different things. And our last card here, Page of Fire. We've gotten like 4 out of 6 fires. That's a lot of fire. So what is the message from our Page of Fire here? This is all about creation, and this is all about some really pretty background imagery on this card that I've never seen. There's a depth and a richness in this card. So that is a message in that don't be afraid of the depth and richness. If you're not sure which path to take, you can't lose either way, because what we're really after here is depth and richness and a larger knowing, a deeper knowing, because whichever path you choose, you're going to end up here at the Page of Fire, the opening of a creative time in your life, the opening of more possibilities, more fire, more growth. Is there anything else on this card? I've been walking a lot in the woods, and this imagery is so right for this time of year right now. The color, the change, the transformation that we're headed towards. But her pink dress is the growth in the midst of that transformation and change. So this is about knowing that you're supported in both choices, knowing that you're not going to make a wrong step, because as you go through this passage, you're going to end up in the same place as this Page of Fire. And Council of Monarchs. And then there's going to be a moment when you reach that moment, when you reach that place of creative fire, creative spark, you're going to have this moment of clarity come in with the Council of Monarchs, that at that moment you're going to have to decide a course that will change your life forever. That's how I'm going to say it. These are the intermediary steps that you need to take, one or the other. But at the moment when you get through that and you're in this space where you have all of this creative potential and it seems like there's all this room for unfolding, then there'll be a moment of sitting down and looking at the facts and saying, this is the way I'm going. But this moment is in the future. Let's say 2 to 3 months out, perhaps. It may be sooner for you depending on where you are in your journey, but this moment is out. This isn't, I think the problem here is you think the current moment you're in is this moment, the reckoning, but it's not. That's further out. Okay, so you can't make a wrong choice here. Just know you're learning different things. You're growing in different ways. If you have questions about it, please reach out, and I'll see you again soon.